Welcome to the second installment of the Whiskey and Fire podcast. As you can see, if you're watching in the right spot, we have went video. We don't know what we're doing, but hopefully it turns out good. Welcome back the repeat listeners and welcome the first time listeners. Glad to have everybody back and glad to have the new people join in. We're excited to add the video piece of this. We've had a lot of people tell us, we want to see you pop the bottle. We want to see what you look like. And we're like, you really don't, not really at all, but
they're going to find out.
They're going to find out. Then we're going to get a whole new set of messages of, show the bottle, not so much yourself, whatever. But, no, I mean, I'm extremely excited about this episode. I don't know about you, Derek, but I am pumped about this one. I didn't think we would have something cool happen so fast. You know what I mean? Yeah. I figured we would still be fishing for topics and figuring out what to talk about.
I figured it'd still just be our wives listening and nobody else. So I've been surprised a lot. They've all been exciting.
I did. I figured my wife going, no, I think you're going to figure it out. You're going to get it. I think, no, you're doing good. That's a lie because that's not what she does at all. She tells me everything I do wrong, what I repeat too many times, what I shouldn't say, how loud Nothing but a critic. But and to shout out to her, this is the second official episode. So we had a trailer, a first episode, and a second episode. I think last time I said second episode, and I was immediately chastised for that.
It's tricky. I've been saying the same thing, but the first one was a trailer, but it still felt like our first episode, and so. But technically, she's right. We got to give her credit.
I think the trailer just gave us a piece of comfort that if it sucks, it was just a trailer. You know what I mean?
That's right.
If you called it an episode and it sucked, then it's like, well, I mean, that was an episode and it was terrible. But if it sucks and it's a trailer, it's like, well, they were just trying.
It was a trailer.
They didn't know what they were doing. But no, we're really excited about this. And I mean, I think we all need some excitement right now. This January has drug. I saw a meme that said the first 83 days of January have been terrible, and I'm much behind that. I mean,
it feels like that, doesn't it?
It does. We've had freezes, floods. I mean, I feel like just personally, I've had a bunch of just stuff not go the way we wanted it to go. It's just like, my gosh, when is this what 2020? I think every year we look as this year won't be the year that I have to be the warrior, and you still have to be the warrior every year. I don't know.
It's no fun when it's literally 11 degrees for an entire week. And then the following week, it's flooding and raining and cloudy and just gloomy for an entire week. You don't see the sun, and you never got any snow. You had all that rain and all that cold and no snow for the kids. So it was kind of just terrible luck this year.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I felt bad watching water. Of course, you don't have. I know your son's 15, but I still have a 11-year-old. And I remember being a little kid in East Texas, thinking, "Oh, is it going to snow tomorrow?" And your parents are going, "I mean, it's going to sleet and it's going to ice, and it's not going to be fun, and you're not going to make snowballs, but it'll be cold and wet." And she's out there trying to roll up a ball of sleet and you're making a rock. Just stop. You're going to hurt yourself. But she did it and she had fun.
Don't have to go to school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And if you notice nowadays they cancel school quicker. I want to say in our days, you were up at 7 that morning dressed for school, watching the news going, come on, just say my school.
Yeah. I don't remember having a day off. I like a day we were supposed to go in. I don't remember ever getting called out.
I want to say we had a couple, but it was one of those, like I said, we were at the door still watching the news and like, oh, sweet, we get to stay home. And now they're like, 11 o'clock the day before, just letting everyone know there won't be school tomorrow. And you get that automated phone call and you're like, this is bullcrap, man. We didn't have it this easy. This was not what we had.
That's right.
But now hopefully this weather's behind us. I'm ready for the spring. I say that I like cold. I like to be inside and chill, but it wears thin. So I'm ready for golf. I'm ready for barbecuing and having a fire and being outside smoking food and grilling, which is the other half of this show. And I know me and you have both been trying to figure out how are we going to incorporate this in the show. It's hard to get to do anything when you're inside and it's rainy and cold. So I think we're both ready to get outside and get back to that. Even though, I mean, both of us, we're two different kind of outside cookers. I mean, we enjoy the hobby together, but I know we have two different realms. You're more the competitive guy, aren't you? You're the guy who's got a trophy and what have you.
Well, look, for the record, we have more than one trophy. Okay. But
more than one.
The reality is, we did some competitive stuff. We haven't done it in a couple of years, really since COVID. And I was living in Mississippi, right? So we didn't really have an opportunity to get together. We need to get back into that, but we haven't really done it in a while. But we did some like real competitions, and we didn't fare very well. We did some kind of intermediate type stuff, and we did okay. And then we did some stuff like in the neighborhood, and then we win some trophies. I don't know if you guys can read that, but the important thing
your
is
son's baseball trophy.
It says first place. Now there's a grill on it. If you look close, you can kind of see it.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! There's a grill on it.
But that's the kind of stuff we're competing in, so it's not like we're doing a whole lot different than you are. I don't think. We're doing brisket, we're doing ribs, chicken, sausage, that kind of stuff. That's the stuff I really enjoy. And frankly, the weather, it can be super cold for the most part, and I'll still want to get out there and do a brisket. It's the only thing that if you wake me up at 3 a.m. for anything else, I'll be just super irritated. But if I'm going to be making a brisket, I'm out there and it's cold and it can be raining. I don't care. And I'm just getting the fire started. It's just this amazing feeling, and basically sit there and babysit it for an entire day. It doesn't bother me at all. And then, of course, the outcome is incredible. So
maybe that's why I haven't done a brisket yet, because 3 o'clock is not me. That's not
okay. So you haven't done a brisket?
I haven't. I mean, halfway out of fear and halfway out of laziness. I mean, like you said, I'm not going to be. There's nothing going to excite me about 3 o'clock. I mean, there's nothing to excite me about that. But also fear. I mean, that's not cheap, man. If I do that and make a big piece of boot leather, I'm going to feel like an idiot. So I try to stick to a little bit more, I guess, foolproof things I can't screw up too much. So I'm doing a pork butt ribs, smoking a chub, a big piece of bologna.
Look,
fun stuff like that.
You can say chub and then tell me it's a big piece of bologna, but when you say chub, I don't think a big piece of bologna. And I don't even think I could ever use it in another context besides the one that immediately comes to mind. But that's great. So talk me through smoking a chub. What do you do?
You cross hatch it, cut it end to end, kind of let it open up a little bit, cover it with your mustard binder and seasoning, and all that pieces just kind of open up. And I mean, it's already got enough unhealthy fat and seasoning in it, that it's just going to taste delicious. I've seen people cut it into like slices and call it Mississippi round steak. I mean, that's that's funny, but
it's not far off. So
it's not far.
So with like brisket, and ribs, you've kind of got at least a general timeline for how long you cook something, and then you got to worry about the temperature. It's all got to be just right. You got to smoke it for a certain period of time, then you might wrap it, whatever, right? What are you doing with a chub? How long do you cook it? Is there a certain temperature you're trying to get it to?
Until you're ready to eat it. As long as you can look at it and not want to eat it, you're there. But no, I mean, you just watch it. Once it kind of opens up good and the cross hatches will all kind of open up and space out a little bit, and then you're kind of getting close and ready. I mean, you can eat it raw, or not raw, processed, so It's already healthy to eat. You're not trying to get to a temperature. I mean, also like the time we got together and finally tried the smoked queso, that was delicious. That was that one blew me away. I didn't think that was going to turn into anything. So no, I'm ready to get to that stuff. I'm ready to get out there and do that again, since I guess I'm the lazy one who doesn't do it in the cold or at 3 a.m.
Well, I don't do it when it's like 11 degrees. I think that's probably where I draw the line. But for the most part,
there's a cutoff point.
Yeah. I'm grilling everything, though. I talk about brisket and ribs, and I do that, but I don't always have time. So I grill the normal stuff, burgers, chicken, hot dogs, all that kind of stuff. But anything else I can put on the grill, I'll do it. So I cook my chili in a cast iron pot. It's like a competition-style Texas chili. And it turns out pretty amazing. I got to make you some at some point. But then I've done pizzas on the ceramic grill. It's pretty awesome. So anything I can have an excuse to go out there, I'll do it.
I've gotten into the griddle lately, so I got one of those finally. I broke down and got a Blackstone, and man, if you haven't done that yet, that's fun. I don't know what the excitement is. Maybe it's you've always wanted to be the hibachi guy at a Japanese restaurant or something, but man, it's fun to do. The cleanup's not bad. Things just taste better. I mean, burgers are sitting there cooking in their own fat and grease, which I mean, my doctor says is the way to do it. That's the way to healthiness. So
yeah,
that's what I'm going to do. But no.
I remember from the trailer you said you're on the cholesterol medication. So what are you worried about, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got stuff to control that. So that's like a key to getting to eat whatever you want to eat. That's what they told me.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm ready to do that, and we'll have to get into that eventually. So I know, I do want to give a little props to the guy on the other side of this camera here. We're going to call him our chief marketing officer at the point. He has been blazing, trying to reach people who want to collaborate, reach distilleries, different barbecue places and all that. So he kind of took on that role and has done amazing at it. And that's kind of what's going to produce this episode. So Derek, why don't you tell us kind of what we got this week and how it came to be.
Yes. So we've partnered with a local distillery in Fort Worth. It's a distillery called Acre Distilling, and I'm glad you made it sound like I was doing some great marketing job. For the record, I don't think we've talked about our occupations, but I work in operations for a technology company. So to say that this is outside of my realm is an understatement. But basically, I just sent out a bunch of emails and hoped someone would respond. And if they didn't, I left them alone. I didn't send anything else.
You got to call it a well-written email. That's where you get the credit to yourself.
Okay.
You sent out some well-written emails.
You're right. It was well-written. I mean, it had to be because some of them actually responded, which is pretty incredible. So the first one to jump in and say, hey, we want to do something with you guys. We like what you're doing. It was Acre Distilling, and they invited us out there. So you and I and our wives got to go out there and do a tasting and a tour, which was super fun, right? And we can talk a little bit more about that. But they have been great. You know, we didn't know them. We kind of barely know them now, but we just met them, and it feels like they almost feel like family. They're friends. We know who they are. They know us, and we'll be back out there.
Extremely friendly. Extremely friendly. I think Mandy was the one you were talking to. She was extremely friendly. Rod, who put on our tour, that dude was solid. I mean, he had great stories, great production, had that badass look like I wanted to look like, but I don't. But no, they were extremely friendly, extremely nice people. I was glad they had us out. They, like he said, we went through the tour. We got to sample a bunch of stuff, and we both went into it extremely nervous as they started because he's like, a lot of places just do whiskey. We do vodka, rum, everything. And me and you both looked at each other like, I don't really drink any of those. How's this going to go? And it did not go how we expected. That was some of the best stuff I have tasted in a long. The vodka was my favorite. What was it? A blackberry sage tea distilled vodka. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it tasted like sweet
amazing.
Tea. It was amazing.
It did.
And we tasted 10 or 12 different spirits.
Yep.
And they say they bottle 30. So when they say that, we kind of look at each other like, can you really be good at 30 different spirits? I mean, really good at it. And we didn't try them all, but everything we tried, it was pretty. I mean, it was pretty amazing, and a lot of it was flavor.
Well, I know. Rod told us, they're a destination distillery, which I've never heard of that before. I think of a distillery as somebody trying to make whiskey, make whatever, sell it to around the world. But their goal is to get you there. They want you to come out and experience they have a little bar set up. They serve food. The tour is very just lax and comfortable. It's not a guy standing with a microphone talking to a bunch of people. It's a one-on-one experience. He's cutting up with you and telling you about the people who work there. And it was just, man, it was an experience. Just not what you typically think of as a distillery tour. It was a good time, and they gave us some real good stuff. And in fact, they told us, we want y'all to take some stuff back and sample. And I enjoyed talking to Mandy because she was like, how much are y'all wanting? And that's a awkward conversation to have because
it's dangerous to ask you that.
At this point. Me and you were one episode in or one trailer in, and she's like, how much do y'all need? You just tell me what you want. And of course, my thought was I can back the truck up and we can load the bed up, whatever you want to do. But no, you just tell me what you need. So luckily, they gave both of us 3 different bottles. We explained to them how we do this remotely. We're not in the same spot, but we want to sample it together. So they gave each of us the same 3 bottles. And that's going to be the ones we taste today. Try to give you a little bit of information of each one, not the full deal. Go see Rod. He's a lot better than we are. We're just the podcast guys, not the distillery tour guys. But we'll get into the 3 here that they did have. So this will be our bottle pop and sample for the week. So the first one we're going to try here is the Acre Texas Single Malt. I think everybody can see that. We did go ahead and remove plastic. I figured no one wanted to hear all that, but
yeah, they definitely don't. And I'm going to go ahead, if you want to do the bottle pop, and I'll do mine in a second, but I'm going to read kind of a little bit about the distillery on the back of the bottle here. It says, in the late 1800s, Hell's Half Acre became a generic name used in many frontier towns, often referred to as the Acre. Fort Worth's version was the most infamous and rambunctious of them all. And they mentioned that right there where the distillery is where they had people walking around like Doc Holliday and Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid and Wyatt Earp. So it's pretty incredible when you're there, you're drinking whiskey, having a good time, knowing that kind of stuff was going on there in that exact area. So it was really kind of cool. It created this really interesting ambiance that we didn't expect.
Well, I like how Rod said it. When you came through in those days, you either had the time of your life or left in a lot of trouble. So
that's right.
Sounds like a good idea either way. So
exactly.
Here, let me see if I can make a decent bottle pop here. That was okay. That was okay.
Yeah, mine was all right too.
Ooh, I think you beat me.
Don't pour too much now. We got a little bit more of this podcast to go.
Yeah, when you're doing 3 instead of 1, you got to be a little more careful.
Exactly.
But a delicious smelling. I mean, just and I will be honest, these first 2 we're going to try are ones that we tried there, so it's just kind of a second deal. We already know how good it's going to be, but I'm sure the third one will be just as good.
That's right.
Yeah, that's delicious. Delicious.
Yeah, it really is. So this one has a little bit of bite on the end, which I think is expected when you've got such a high proof. What is it, 100 proof? And so, it's 50% alcohol. So it's going to have a little bit of a bite, but it's smooth and it doesn't last long and it tastes great. There's just a little bit of sweetness on the end too.
Yeah, it didn't taste 100 proof. It tasted like your typical 80, 85, something like that.
That's right.
Now the second one, the name is what I love. And there was a story to go with it and all that. But the second one we got here is called Long Hair Jim. I mean, how much cooler of a name is that? And this is a straight bourbon whiskey. So this was their bourbon offering that we got to taste that day.
So it says the mash is made with 75% corn, 21% rye, and 4% malted barley. So this is a bourbon, and bourbon, for those that don't know, has a few more rules than whiskey. Bourbon's got to be 51% corn, so this is well over that at 75. One of the things we know about this distillery we didn't mention, but they locally source all of their grains for their whiskeys. So when it says 75% corn, it's Texas corn. So that's kind of a cool feature for the whiskey.
Yep. Let me see if I can do a good one again. I got to beat you this time. I think yours was better.
I know it was.
Man, I think you got me again. That wasn't impressive.
No, mine really wasn't.
Yeah, I think you got me.
Okay.
I'm sitting here. I'm trying not to pour the size drink I would normally pour. I don't want to, like you said, we've got 3 to do here, so
yeah,
I want to be careful.
So this one smells
wonderful
smokier,
smell.
Right, than the last one.
And speaking of smoke, they did have one there, and we didn't get a bottle of it, but it was called, what was it, Texas Smoke, or just their smoke or something.
That's
right.
And
it was extremely smoky, but still, I mean, there was nothing there that I wouldn't recommend to everybody. Delicious. Good stuff.
That one's really good too. That one's a little bit sweeter than the first one, the Texas single malt that we had.
That'd be the one I'd put my wife on. She's a lot more of a bourbon person than I am. I'm more of a rye and corn guy, which is why I'm most excited about this one. Sunray Corn Whiskey. And to be clear, this is the one we did not get to try. So this is going to be the first round with this one. And I'm pins and needles about it.
The crazy thing about this one is it's 95% corn. I don't know if I've ever had one that's 95% corn. So I'm excited to try it. It should be relatively sweet with that much corn in it.
You would think so. You go first this time, so I don't have to get embarrassed.
Oh, you didn't hear it. I'm going to do it again.
That was no. This is my chance.
It's already over. Oh yeah, that was perfect.
Still wasn't much.
That was perfect.
Still wasn't much. Here's what I think the video adds. People aren't just listening to us breathe and do nothing for just a minute.
Yeah, I hadn't really shown my glass with whiskey in it. They might think I'm faking.
Well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be rude and show my glass that has another distiller on it, but
yeah.
We weren't given glasses. Acre, Mandy, Rod, we weren't given glasses.
That's right.
Yeah, that's me. That's mine right there.
Yeah, that's the one. I mean, they're all good, but that one's almost perfect. And it does have that little bit of sweetness.
That one was good.
And it's smooth as well. It doesn't really have as much bite on it. I don't know if that's related to the corn or not, but it's good.
Yeah, like we said, we're no experts here, so we're not going to be the ones to give you the deep dive on each one of these. But we're going to tell you they're all 3 good. But I would definitely go sun hair, long hair, and then the single malt as my order of choice.
So 1 Sunray, 2 long haired Jim, and
long
3
hair
is the single malt.
Yeah,
definitely same.
Definitely Sunray on top for sure. I don't think we've ever dug into this, but if you're sitting around just sipping on this, what are you doing outside of just sipping on a little whiskey? What is your thing to do outside of that?
Well, I think obviously food's important. We covered that. So outside of that, I'll have music playing. I've always got a little mini portable
Definitely.
speaker, and that thing kind of goes with us everywhere. So I'll be listening to music.
Oh
How
yeah,
about you?
same thing. That's me. I've got that old rusty looking speaker. I've actually got one we've taken to the beach each year for like 8 years now. It's got sand in it. The cage is kind of
Same.
rusty, but it still sounds good. But yeah, no, I'm out in the back porch. I sit in the garage, sitting wherever, just listening to a little music. Which I will say, at 40, listening to music and picking what's good music is different than what it used to be. I feel like there's not a music centered toward us, but I don't really know what that would look like either. I don't know what a music centered to a 40-year-old would look like.
I don't
So I
know.
find myself listening to stuff that's kind of the remind me of when I was young, remind me of the tough times,
Yeah.
remind me of the heartbreaks, and not to depress me. It doesn't depress me. I'm not the kind that linger in pain and regrets. I'm glad for everything I've been through. But what do you listen to?
Well, the way you describe what you listen to, you're just listening to the country then, right?
Probably 95% of the time, yeah. But
Yeah.
not. But let's be clear. Like not Nashville country. Nashville country is not pointed at me anymore. I'm
Well,
not.
yeah. I
I'm
said
not.
country, not
I'm not
Nashville
19
country.
sitting on a lake. I'm not 19 sitting on a lake next to a lake with a girl by a bonfire anymore. No,
So
my
what?
wife's right
Yeah,
there with me, sipping on a little whiskey and listening to speaker in the backyard, enjoying what we've done and what we've built together. So yeah,
I hear
no,
you. I hear
not
you.
Nashville country by any means. I'm,
Yeah.
what's gotten me a lot is more the platform that smaller artists have now. I mean, you don't go to the radio, you don't go to the TV to find the ones I'm listening to. You're catching people who have put a little snippet of their music on TikTok or Instagram. You're like, man, that's catchy, and dig into them. And they may never make it big, or they may be big in their own, running around doing shows type thing. So the industry's changed a lot, I think, since we were young, especially.
Yeah, for sure. So I listen to Texas country similar to you, and also listen to '90s rock and maybe early 2000s, but stuff that's nostalgic to me for the same reasons. Um, and so that's kind of my thing. And I'll tell you a story. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. My wife and I were going to a Papa Roach concert. Still love Papa Roach. I think I always will. They're incredible live. Love their stuff. So, anyways, we bought tickets and they were kind of expensive. And we're thinking, why? It's Papa Roach. Maybe they're more popular than we think. But they're sold out and the tickets were expensive. Then we get there and it's just super crowded, which was unexpected. And we noticed a bunch of young people. So my wife and I are like, wow, Papa Roach has got it. Like they're pulling in the young crowd, and they're going to stay relevant forever.
You felt hip for a minute, didn't you? You felt
Yeah,
like you were
yeah,
hip and with the trends, you were doing it.
that's right. Well, I kind of do anyways, but yeah, especially then. My son would argue with that, but yeah. So we're in there, and there's another band that's playing before them, and apparently that's what all the kids were there for. And so, I mean, they're going nuts. And this band is this weird mix of like emo, screamo, super poppy hip hop. It's a
Sounds
weird
terrible.
mix
Sounds
match.
terrible.
Yeah. And it'll be all of that in one song. And then all of them are like that. So, of course, we got through it. And, my ears were in pain. My head was in pain. My entire body was just suffering. But we made it and we felt relieved. But we felt well enough to ask this girl next to us, like, we've never heard of this band. They're not on the radio. We don't know who they are, but they're super popular with younger people, obviously. And so we asked, like, how do they know that this band is a big deal? And she said, oh, our generation doesn't listen to the radio. We watch TikTok and YouTube. I'm like, oh, so I guess, I felt
That was how I
super old
pictured.
at that
I just
point.
imagined you. I just imagined the both of y'all looking over. We're not hearing them on the radio, honey. Where are these people playing? I mean, that's
I
when you said
know.
it. That was totally how I saw. I saw how that's how they looked at y'all. I was like,
That's
who are
right.
these
That's
old
right.
people? What are they? What
That's
are they
what they
talking about?
saw. And that's the terrible part is like, I don't think I've ever felt as old as in that moment. And I've got a teenage son, so he makes me feel old all the time. But I still felt super old then. But I think about it, my son doesn't listen to the radio. I mean, he's staring at his phone, so he's listening to music on his phone, but it's stuff that he sees on his phone, not from the radio,
Yep.
So you're
Yeah.
right. That's the way for bands to get popular. So if Papa Roach ever listens, get on TikTok and Instagram and all those things because that's where it's at.
No, definitely. I do want to expand since you brought it up. I want to tell the story. Being that you are a '90s music person, I believe it was last year we had an opportunity to go to a concert with you and your wife to a Bush concert, which we all liked. It. Don't get me wrong, I loved
like
Bush back in the day.
Going.
Gavin Rossdale, they rocked. It was great. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Of course, the same thing. I do remember in the same situation. There was two bands that opened up that were just terrible, just horrible. I want to say one was like very Antichrist and saying things that we were like, alrighty, what did we show up for?
She was a young
went and got drinks at that point, and yeah. No, we went and got drinks at that point and let that one happen. But during the and to lead into this, Derek told me he was a huge Bush fan. Like, I love them. I love Gavin. And I believe, okay, that's cool. You like them. I like some people too. So at some point they're starting to play, and me and my wife decide to go get a drink or something. And as we're coming back, this guy over here is lit up like Christmas, like he just got the biggest present of his life. And he's like, I touched Gavin Rossdale. And I'm like, what? Oh, he came back here and I touched him. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, this dude right here was lit. You were on cloud nine for touching Gavin Rossdale.
Look, two things. First off, it happened one time. Okay. Just once. Second,
it won't be forgotten.
No. You and Jenny, your wife, needed to go to the restroom or get booze or something. So y'all walked out, and it was in the middle of the song. And one thing that Gavin Rossdale will do is walk towards the back where all the cheap seats are and kind of like say hi to people. Not really, but I mean, he's singing and high-fiving and all that kind of stuff. Well, those two seats were empty, and we're in the back. Now, we are cheap, but we really like the back there because we can hop over the back and go get booze real easily. But we're back there, and Gavin Rossdale is coming closer and closer. So, of course, I mean, the heartbeat starts going. Like, I'm thinking, is he really coming over here? He came over and stood right in those two empty seats right next to us. And so, yeah, I mean, I might have thrown my hand on his shoulder and kind of was excited about it. But it was a one-time thing. Unless that ever happens again, then it'll happen. Then it'll be two times.
But I mean, so you said he does that and that happens. So is that why the seats were picked? Because me and my wife didn't help pick this. Y'all picked the seats. Were you strategically picking seats that you thought he might come by?
No, I knew he did that, but I didn't think about it because when we're in that venue, we're always going to take those seats because we found out it's super easy to get out and go get the beer. But
no, it was good. It was good seats.
But yeah, and the seats are fine there. But no, I didn't remember that. But I kind of started thinking about it about midway through. At least I knew not to go get booze or go get a bathroom break at that time. And your wife is still upset about it, for the record. She's upset.
True. Now she is your other '90s person, so she would have liked to have seen that too. So whereas I was not hurt at all, she was definitely like, "Oh, why did we go then?" But if you backtrack, I want to say it was her idea that we went. So it wasn't like I said I need to go to the bathroom or anything. It's never the guy that's got to go to the bathroom. So I want to say she opened that door and she set herself up for failure. So that's not on me. that's not on me at all. That's not me at all. So, well, hopefully here in a few weeks we're going to go see and I'm going to say the name wrong, and I've never heard them say his name, but it's Warren Zeters or Ziders. I don't know.
Maybe
Zaders, is that what we're going to go with?
Could be Zaders. Who knows?
Whatever it is, we're going to go see him in Dallas at the House of Blues. So I'm excited about that one. Very excited.
Yeah, same.
And he's another one of those artists that I've just.
Yeah.
Is he Texas or is he like Tennessee or something?
I may have made that up. I said that and thought maybe not. Yeah, he might not be Texas. He kind of sounds like it though. So we'll
good old Arizona boy as he is, or whatever. Yeah,
Canadian country.
Whatever he's from, yeah.
That's right.
But no, he's another one of those. That's where I kind of found him was on TikTok and Instagram, just posting, throwing out short videos of what he was doing. And he's got some good music, so I'm excited to go see that one. I have told my wife that I need to get a cowboy hat before we go, which she's wildly against. But
you've been saying
I think it would set the tone really well. But I don't want to go just buy one off a rack. I want to go have it made, shaped the way I want it, and all that stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah, I want to feel like I'm a cowboy for at least a day.
We're going to have to do that, both of us, and do a recording with us both in our hats. I think it'll be a funny episode because you and I will just be cracking up at each other because I can only just visualize you in a cowboy hat right now and it cracks me up.
Well, and then my wife will take a video of me wearing it back into my suburban subdivision home and be like, yeah, look at this cowboy. I mean, I know what she'll do to me. I know what she'll do to me in a heartbeat.
That's right.
Man, before we drag this thing out too long, I think we've I think we've covered enough for today. But like I said, we were extremely excited. Thanks again to Acre Distilling for having us out, Mandy and Rod and the other people out there. Man, we had a great time. I think we've agreed we're going to go do it again. Definitely going to go check it out again. Whether it'll be part of the podcast or not, I don't know. But I'm going again. That was a good time. I know. Just to add on, they do have a little blending session we're going to try to go do. You get to kind of make your own. You get to combine all their whiskeys and make your own. Which, I mean, hopefully I know what I'm doing, but probably not at all. So
yeah, and
like we said earlier, Derek's.
Sorry, to add to that, they'll make our logo on the label to put on a bottle. So that's pretty incredible. So we're definitely going to be back. We're going to get a couple of bottles with our logo on it. And we're excited about it. And I think we should talk a little bit about it. Maybe we'll show the bottle off on one of the future episodes.
I mean, wouldn't it be cool to have a bottle with our logo? So like in 10 years when this thing didn't work out and we're just sitting on the back porch, you remember how we got this?
We'll at least have good whiskey out of it.
I remember it's up to us. So let's not commit to that one yet. But no, we're wanting to do more like that. And like I said, Derek's kind of been reaching out to some. We've got some other people on the line that we're going to be doing similar things with, or at least sampling some of their whiskey. I think we've kind of determined that something we'd like to do in this is kind of bring awareness to a lot of the smaller distilleries that nobody knows. Not to give slight to any of the big names who have been in the business forever and, making good ones, Jack, Jim, Crown, all the ones makers, all the ones that have been making it forever and are making really solid stuff. Not to slight them at all, but there's a lot of these little smaller distillers that are out here, beating the streets and doing it and making some really good stuff and making an experience to go with it. So I think that's something we'd like to try to highlight. And like I said, Derek's been reaching out to someone. We've got some people on the line, and we're going to try to involve them in some future episodes. So hopefully we'll get around to that. I know we've got some other ones already lined up, so hopefully that'll be part of it. But I guess before we get out of here, like I said, we always say we want to hear from everybody. I know we've had a few people reach out to us on social media with some ideas and thoughts, and we've had some messages and all that. So let's continue to grow that. We're on TikTok, which we're hoping to grow that after this. We're hoping to take the video aspect of it and grow our Instagram and TikTok a little bit. And so we want to hear from you on there. We're already on Facebook. We have our email, whiskeyfirepodcast@gmail.com. We have our website, whiskey-fire.com. So we've got plenty of ways to reach out to us. Definitely do it. Give us your ideas. Say you want to be part of the show, suggest a distiller, anything. Tell us we're terrible. I mean, like I told Derek, until we get some good criticization, we haven't made it. That's part of the deal. So we definitely want to hear that. And wherever you do get your podcast, definitely don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, follow us, do it all. I think now we're on Pandora, Spotify, Apple, maybe a couple other smaller ones. I think I got on Google and then got a message immediately that's getting shut down. So sorry, everybody who's on Google. Yeah. You're going to have to find another channel. They've already cut y'all out. But
that's right.
Wherever you do, definitely reach out to us, connect to us, and tell us what you think. We like to hear from everybody. So anything you want to throw out there before we hop off, Derek?
Yeah, for sure. So just once again, I want to say thank you so much to Mandy and the team at Acre Distilling. We really thoroughly enjoyed it. Not just saying that. We'll be honest in our reviews. We really feel like this was a really fun event and something we enjoyed. Great date night. Wasn't super expensive. So it's something you need to check out. It's in downtown Fort Worth. And downtown Fort Worth isn't like downtown Dallas. There's parking at the facility and it's easy to get in and out of. It's really pretty down there. Lots of good restaurants. We actually checked one out. So go check it out. It's really a great place. And just I don't want to go through all the analytics, but basically we're in 39 states now with listeners that have downloaded in 39 states. And we've got 7 countries. I don't know if you know that, Slade, but I checked it earlier today. We went from 6 to 7. So 7 countries, 39 states.
We caught India. I saw that.
Yeah, which is interesting. But so yeah, we're all over the place now, and so we know we've got some really great listeners out there. And so I just want to thank everybody that's listening. You guys are really kind of giving us energy to keep this thing going, and we're excited about it.
Definitely. So until we talk to y'all again, God bless, and see you next time.
See you.